Welcome back to the channel. Now, this is a video I've been meaning to make for quite some time now, but I've neglected to do it because I want to be able to capture my anger and frustration regarding this whole situation, this giant issue. It's really hard, to just capture everything I want to say about it and just really highlight how just awesome all of this is. We're going to start this off with some numbers. CBS News, November 27, 2020. Nearly 19 million Americans could lose their homes when eviction limits expire December 31st. NBC Connecticut. According to a survey conducted by a U.S. Census Bureau last month, nearly 9 million Americans say they are behind on rent. Another one from CBS. More than 50 million Americans facing hunger in 2020 projections show. So what's going on? Where are the rent freezes? Where are the mortgage freezes? We'll get to that, but I just want to compare and contrast just to show everybody how wonderfully America is doing compared to other nations, and just how much America and its representatives care about its citizens. Because America sure has freedom, the freedom to be left alone to rot as you lose your job and go hungry. From Business Insider, 14 countries that are paying their workers during quarantine and how they compare to America's single $1,200 stimulus checks. As countries around the world bear the brunt of the coronavirus pandemic, some governments are stepping in with direct assistance. From monthly payments to one-time checks, many countries are putting cash directly into the hands of impacted or self-employed workers. Spain will establish a permanent basic income for lower-income residents. 80 million Americans have already received stimulus checks, and Senate progressives have announced a plan to give Americans $2,000 a month throughout the coronavirus crisis. That never happened. Others, like France and Denmark, have stepped in to subsidize workers' wages and prevent layoffs. Let's go one by one. Spain is set to establish a permanent basic income for poorer residents. Germany is offering aid to small employers and to freelancers, and the freelancers in Berlin can get over $5,000 in assistance. In the Netherlands, the government will pay up to 90% of workers' salaries. Must be nice. Denmark will pay 75% to 90% of workers' salaries on behalf of employers, as long as workers aren't laid off. The UK government will pay up to 80% of workers' wages, a first for the country. France is offering self-employed workers up to $1,600. In Brussels, self-employed workers are eligible for replacement income in March and April. Well, the United States, sending many Americans $1,200 stimulus checks. This was back in May. That's when this was written. In Hong Kong, the government will pay 50% of workers' salaries for 6 months. Every Japanese citizen will receive $930. But Japan wasn't even really hit that hard. The pandemic went away pretty damn quickly because they actually know how to keep their shit together. They wore masks. Everything died down. And they had only 1,000 cases or something. Malaysia is offering direct handouts to workers in some impacted industries. Ireland introduced weekly emergency payments for self-employed people and those who had lost their jobs. In Australia, over 6 million low-income earners will receive $750 cash payments. Italy will give around $650 to self-employed and seasonal workers. South Korea will cover 70% or more of wages. I'll link the article down below. Isn't it just remarkable how all these other countries, these very well-off, economically sound countries, are able to take care of their citizens for months, and America just lets its citizens rot with just a measly one-time payment of $1,200 for 7 months. See, we passed the CARES Act in the Senate, which was the single largest wealth transfer in the history of the United States, which transferred $4-5 trillion up to the wealthiest people who didn't need it. All that money, all that money could have been used to bail out the people, and the left was screaming about this. They were everyone Every lefty that you saw was talking about this. Bail out the working class. Bail out the workers. Moratoriums. Uh, freeze rent. Freeze mortgages. Cancel rents. Pay people to stay home. Replace wages. Subsidize workers who were laid off. Every single week, unemployment claims were in the millions. The CARES Act wasn't enough. The HEROES Act was passed in the House. But this man, this, not even a man, this subhuman, this soulless, greedy cocksucker, Senate Majority Leader, who has well over 300 bills just sitting on his desk, won't even put it up for a vote. The reason why you aren't seeing relief is because of this man. The reason why so many small businesses are closing forever is because of this man. The reason why millions of Americans, including children, are going hungry is because of this man. Somehow, Mitch McConnell won his re-election and remains in the Senate where he doesn't belong and has never belonged because he doesn't give a single flying fuck about an American citizen. He'd spit on you if you interacted with him. This slimy, turtleneck fucking coward is the reason why so many are suffering today. But it's not just him. It's not just him. We have a media apparatus in this country, particularly a conservative media apparatus in this country. They like to peddle the myth that you can do it no matter what your circumstances, no matter what your upbringing is. You as an individual can succeed because you live in America, because you were born here. That's it. That's all. You have to make the sacrifice. You can't rely on government. Why rely on government? What good have they ever done? See, that's a trick question because aren't we the people in charge of the government? Don't we elect representatives that are supposed to represent us? Don't we send congressmen and women and senators up to Washington to do what they said that they were going to do for us and for the country? And that's why they campaigned. That's why they became a candidate in the first place. Like, okay, yeah, I like what this guy's pushing. I like what this woman is saying. I like their platform. Let's send them to Washington and see what they can do. But for some reason, Congress, for the last several years, can not get an approval rating more than 20%. It's weird, huh? It's almost like our representatives are beholden to whoever have the largest pockets. That's why billionaires saw their wealth increase collectively by about $1 trillion, while 7.8 million Americans have fallen into poverty this year. And millions of people lost their jobs. And millions of people are going hungry. Yet, it's the conservatives, it's the Republicans that want to say, oh, you just want a handout. Lazy. You're lazy. Go get a job, slacker. Yet in the same breath, they'll give tax breaks to their billionaire buddies because it's a vicious cycle. The politicians are bought by the billionaires. They get elected. They change laws to benefit those billionaires. It doesn't even have to be billionaires. If you're making 7, 8, 9-figure salaries, you scratch their back. They're prioritized because they got you there because they have the money. Because money equals free speech in America. Ain't that great? Corporations are people. And right now, there are negotiations going on to pass a $900 billion bill, which is less than the one that was proposed before that, which was less than the one that was proposed before that one, and even that one was less than the one proposed before that one, the Heroes Act. It's absolutely pathetic. Lots of people gave Pelosi shit for blocking the bill back in October. She says a big reason she did it was because it takes away corporate liability if their workforce comes down with COVID because they neglected them and didn't have the right guidelines and didn't take care of them. Mitch McConnell and the Republicans wanted to keep the corporate liability shield in. And this new bill might do that too. Everybody. It's right in front of your faces. The system is broken. I know I'm just some guy, but sometimes I just feel so lost and I don't know what the fuck to do. You get a lot of heat from other leftists, the revolutionary types that are like, it's time. It's time to rise up against the establishment. It's time for a revolution. Yeah, that'd be nice. Thing is, it wouldn't go our way. There's no class consciousness right now. I mean, you could probably see it in your bubbles. But most Americans, they're just like, oh, well. They're complacent. It's the American way. One of the most American things ever. Complacency. People who are politically disengaged, they just don't understand. They don't understand how badly they're being fucked. And this newest bill, it's called a stimulus bill, but there's no stimulus checks. You need Bernie Sanders to fight tooth and nail just to give workers, every American in this country, another $1,200 payment, which isn't enough, by the way. You need him, and him alone, as well as Josh Hawley and other members of the House, pushing for direct cash relief when it should be a no fucking brainer. It's unbelievably frustrating. All these other countries, they were able to do this and curb the virus a lot more effectively than we did. 300,000 people are dead now. And hospitals everywhere in America are being overwhelmed. Sure, the vaccine's here, but it won't mean shit. I'll have another video about that coming up pretty soon. And how I think that's going to affect a lot of things, especially the hardcore conservative-minded folk, anti-vaxxers, anti-mask crowd, and all that. I wish I could tell you I have solutions, but I don't. But here's what needs to happen. As I mentioned in my video before, called TikTok is Getting Evicted, that was 4 months ago. It's still pretty goddamn relevant. Until a significant majority of the population is vaccinated, we need a moratorium on evictions. We need to cancel rent. We need to freeze mortgages. We need direct cash assistance per month in this country. We need to expand unemployment. And we need the Senate. If both Ossoff and Warnock don't win their runoff races, we have to deal with this maniacal turtleneck fuck standing in the way of literally any significant progress for the next 2 years. Maybe even 4 if the Democrats don't take the Senate in 2022. The most disgusting thing about all of this is the people that say, oh, there's nothing more we can do. That's horse shit. Speaking of which, there was this piece of shit on CNN who thinks that we don't need more stimulus checks. I wonder how many more of these rich fucking out-of-touch greedy cocksuckers are there that are in the ears of these lawmakers.
I want to ask you about Bernie Sanders and other progressives that are not happy with this stimulus package because it does not include stimulus checks. The same actually goes for Republican Josh Hawley of Missouri. But would that idea have enough impact on the economy that it would lead to ultimately spiking this bill altogether, do you think?
Well, I think the criticism is right in the sense that this $908 billion package is not enough to get the economy through the whole pandemic. And what's interesting is, as you mentioned, it's not just from the left. We heard Senator Josh Hawley say that he told President Trump that he thinks Trump should veto the whole thing if stimulus checks are not included. But, the economists that I'm talking to, They say, listen, we don't know that stimulus checks are really needed right now. A lot of Americans would probably just save that money rather than spend it. And there's a lot of really good stuff in this package, including extending the unemployment benefits that I was talking about earlier, forgivable loans for small businesses, state and local aid from the federal government. And so, you don't want to just kill the whole bill because of that single issue. I mean, it's like if your house was on fire, you wouldn't turn away the one fire truck that comes up just because you think two are needed. You would take the help and hope to get some more.
Yeah, so the thing about that, multiple websites for unemployment and filing for it have been ineffective. People have been waiting on their unemployment checks. Is not been effective. Just saying, oh, well, doesn't unemployment make you happy? Well, the economists that I'm talking to, they're saying that direct cash relief is not needed. And more than likely, these people would just save it anyway. When I first heard this, I about fucking exploded. They would just save it. People, I'm telling you right now, if I got a $1,200 stimulus check, it would disappear like that. There are things that I need to take care of. I think that's the case for millions of other people too. Not everyone is on unemployment. Can children receive unemployment? Do you really think that the unemployment benefits are enough for most people to get by? What kind of bullshit excuse is this to not include stimulus checks in your stimulus bill? It's just another giveaway to corporations. By the way...
Oh, hey, the defense industry called. Yeah, they wanted provisions in the bill. They needed some help as well.
Okay, we'll get right on that.
So the defense industry, the most heavily funded public agency that there is, they need a bailout? They need help? Not workers? Not American families? They're prioritized over the impoverished, the struggling, the starving? Hey, what's a couple more million homeless people anyway, right? Holy fucking shit. I've about said all I've needed to say. I think the Bernie Sanders and McConnell's bill should have been passed. I think we should have gotten $2,000 stimulus checks every single month since May. It's unbelievable the extent to which there's no urgency in Washington at all. Not for you, not for me. But if you got several figures in your bank account, we'll make sure that you're good and taken care of. Because everybody making 8 figures or more, 7 figures or more, 6 figures or more, they're just in dire straits right now. We gotta make sure that they're taken care of. Oh no. Besides, I really want to get reelected and I want some of that money myself. I can't believe people didn't vote for Bernie Sanders in the primary. With what he's doing right now, and sure, $1,200 isn't nearly enough. And now they're compromising and saying, oh, we might do $600 instead. It's like, brilliant. Completely worthless. It's fucking insulting. All of Washington's like, let's compete with one another to see how shitty of a bill that we can make. And make sure that corporations aren't held accountable for jack shit. Like we always do. Replace every single goddamn politician in Washington. I swear to God. That's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this, share it. Please, it would mean the world to me. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't. Subscribe. Check out my other videos. I would love that too. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Like my page on Facebook. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much.